Hey guys, this is Android Nub, and these are the best Android games of 2013 Part 6. First up we have Hello Hero, a 3D online RPG published by Fincon. This is a turn-based RPG with very nice graphics. You can assemble a party and go through stages, fighting through waves of enemies. It's a really addicting game to unlock and collect new heroes, and there's so many different heroes you can collect, and it's pretty easy to get new heroes. There's just so much variety, and this game also has a lot of content. The combat is kind of automated and turn-based, but you can choose when to use your skills. You can fight PvP against other people's parties, and there's also dungeons and boss raids. Next is Assassin's Creed Pirates, a 3D ship-based RPG published by Ubisoft Entertainment. This is a really cool game where you take control of a ship and you play as a pirate. There is a story. This game is mostly open world where you can go and do whatever you want. The combat is fairly simple. You aim where to shoot your cannonballs and can dodge the enemy's attacks by moving left and right. Graphics look very nice, and the game has a lot of content and a lot to do. If you're a fan of pirate ship-based games, you should definitely check this game out. Next up we have Injustice: Gods Among Us, a 3D fighting game published by Warner Bros. So here's a cool fighting game that features DC comic heroes, which include characters like Batman, Green Lantern, Superman. So you can collect heroes in this game and you fight 3-on-3 against the enemy. You go through stages. The fighting is fairly simple. You tap the screen to do light attacks and swipe to do heavy attacks. There's some special attacks you can do, which involve tapping or swiping. The combat is kind of simple. It could use some combos and stuff, but I guess it's more of a casual fighting game. The graphics are really nice, the animations are nice. It's a cool game to check out. Next up is FIFA 14, a 3D soccer game published by EA Sports. FIFA is probably the best soccer series on Android. This game has very nice graphics and animations. There are intuitive touch controls as well as the joystick and buttons to press. It's a really high quality game, very similar to the console FIFA games. It's probably the best soccer game on Android at the moment. Next up is Madden NFL 25, a 3D American football game published by EA Sports. This is probably the only real American football game on Android where you can actually control a team and play against other teams, just like the console games. This game utilizes touch controls that work fairly well. I think the joystick and buttons would be better, but you can play season mode and a couple of other modes. You can play as your favorite team. If you want to play a football game on your mobile device, this is the game to get. Next up is GT Racing 2, a realistic racing game published by Gameloft. So this is a racing game with gorgeous graphics. The cars and scenery both look very nice. There's lots of different cars you can get, and you basically race against other cars. Controls are good. You can tilt your device to steer, or you can use touch controls. There's lots of different tracks, a couple of different game modes, lots of cars to unlock, and it's a cool racing game to check out. Next up is Dead Trigger 2, a 3D zombie shooter published by MADFINGER Games. This is the sequel to the very popular Dead Trigger 1, and this is probably the best zombie shooter on Android. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous, and the touch controls are very easy to use. The game is completely free, with some in-app purchases that aren't really necessary. There's a big map in this game and there's just so much to do, including a campaign mode over multiple continents. This is just a really awesome game with tons of action. And there's also bosses to kill, and items and guns to craft. Next up is SOULCALIBUR, a 3D fighting game published by NAMCO BANDAI game. This is probably the best fighting game on Android at the moment. It's the port of the Dreamcast SOULCALIBUR game. Although the Dreamcast game is old, the graphics still look very nice. There's like 19 different characters, but you have to unlock like half of them by going through arcade mode and other stuff. This game is really cool. There's a joystick and buttons to press. Although using a controller would probably be better. This game didn't have any controller support last I checked. The touch controls are still decent. Fighting in this game is really top notch. There's tons of combos to do, and most of them are fairly easy to execute. There's a couple of different modes, but the arcade mode alone has tons of replay value. Next up is Thor: The Dark World, a 3D action-adventure RPG published by Gameloft. So this game is based on the movie Thor. The graphics are very nice. You control your character by tapping the ground, and you attack enemies by tapping them. There's a story in this game, there's some cutscenes and dialogue. You can level up and upgrade your character, and there's a good amount of action in this game. You go through dungeons and you fight enemies and destroy these reactor things. This game has high production value and it's worth checking out. Next up is Golf Star, a 3D golf game published by Come To Us. This is probably the best golf game on Android. Golf Star offers a realistic golf experience, and the graphics are stunning, really crisp and colorful. There's a couple of different courses to play on. You can play by yourself or you can play against another player online. You can level up, customize your character, buy new clothes and clubs. This game is really fun and I think golf fans will really like this game, and I had a good time playing it. Next up is GTA San Andreas, a 3D sandbox third-person shooter published by Rockstar Games. So most people probably already heard of this game. It came out a long time ago for PC and consoles, but now it is on Android. This game has a ton of content and is an open world sandbox game with an interesting story that involves lots of cutscenes and dialogue. The touch controls are okay. I think this game will be much better with a controller. The graphics are nice, although it is an old game. The game could use a little more optimization in terms of performance, but overall if you lower the settings, it's definitely playable. If you want to experience Grand Theft Auto again or for the first time, make sure you check it out. Next up is Dead Effect, another 3D zombie shooter published by Boxy Pix. This game is similar to Dead Trigger, but is a little more scary in terms of the atmosphere. Graphics are very nice, very well done, and the zombies are pretty scary. There's a couple of different weapons. Got your stun gun as well as your pistol and rifle. The game kind of has a story to go through, and the controls are decent. If you're looking for an alternative to Dead Trigger 2, this is a cool game to check out. Next up is Anomaly 2, a strategy tower defense game published by 11-Bit Studios. So this is a pretty cool game. It's like a tower defense game, except the towers are enemies and you're trying to get to the other side. You control a group of mechs which you can upgrade and buy more of during each mission. There's a tactical map where you can plan out how to move your units across the map. There's different kinds of mechs and you can morph them between long range and short range. And there's also a story and multiplayer mode. Next up is Angry Birds Go, a 3D kart racing game published by Rovio Mobile. Angry Birds usually isn't known for kart racing games, but here's Rovio's newest game in the Angry Birds series. It's a kart racing game where you can race against other birds. There's 5 different modes and 4 different tracks. It could use some more features, but hopefully they will add more to it. The controls are pretty good and the graphics look fairly nice, what you would expect a 3D Angry Birds game to look like. It's a fun casual racing game. Anyway, that's all for now. Make sure you guys subscribe for more videos, and thanks for watching.